to get to everything that we needed on a normal sinus rhythm is what you're being asked to do on all rhythms, right? That's how you're being asked to approach all rhythms. That being said, we need to start looking at comparisons of different rhythms to see what is different from a normal sinus rhythm. And much like I would prefer that you take all the cardiac-related conditions and find out what are all the common signs and symptoms amongst all those and throw them out. I mean, learn them, but that just tells you it's cardiac. That doesn't tell you what cardiac problem it is. And I want you to key in on what the differences are between those cardiac problems, right? I don't want you to memorize 20 signs and symptoms of every single cardiac event if 15 of those signs and symptoms are the same in every cardiac event. Just learn those once. Say, if I see these signs and symptoms, it's cardiac. Now, what are the 1 or 2 signs and symptoms that are different amongst the cardiac ones that steer me down the right path for that condition? Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. It's similar to what I want you to do for the EKG as well. So on the EKG, I'll ask you to do an assignment where you are identifying all those things we just talked about: regularity, rate, P waves, the P to QRS ratio, the PR interval, the QRS complex, that kind of thing, all in a line, and you are identifying what that is for a normal sinus rhythm. You're identifying what that is for a normal sinus rhythm. Does that make sense? And I'll ask you to do that for every single type of rhythm that we have, which I already named. We already named. I gave you this cheat sheet yesterday, which has almost everything on it. Not everything, I'll give you more stuff later on, but it has almost everything on it. So basically for all of those rhythms that we have, you're going to build something like this, either in prose or in a chart, I don't really care, that lets you be able to see the differences. So for example, the difference between a normal sinus rhythm, which have all the parameters that Chanlin just mentioned, and a sinus bradycardia, everything is exactly the same. You see everything in white as being the same, and the rate is the only difference. So you can very quickly look at 2 rhythms and go, that's the only difference that this rhythm has. Therefore, I can identify that as being different when I see this one parameter being different.
Do we get that?
No. You have to create it yourself. Which is also why I've been showing it over here and not at the little camera that Mark has, so that he can't cheat either.
We can't see that much detail.
Which is good. So with that, you could fan in.
No, it doesn't work that well.
As soon as you walk out, you get a picture of that.
You think so?
Or you can just use your brain.
Thanks for giving it away. Yeah. Good, okay.
So, pictures so much.
They're married.
So on our basic rhythms, right, we already talked about this.